Hello, every folks, and good morning. So, interestingly, something that never happens happened. We got lore confirmation in the last few days. Now, I know, there was a whole weekend since this news broke, but I apologize. It has been absolutely insane on my end. But anyway, moving on here. So, basically, what we've found out here is that, from Matsuno himself, episodes 1 and 2 of Coda are confirmed canon, which basically implies that episodes 3 and 4 are not. Now, this has a lot of interesting lore connotations, specifically, like, in no particular order here. Actually, let's go through here. Like, okay, and for anyone unfamiliar with Coda, by the way, I should throw some spoiler warnings out here. If you by any chance were one of those that never played Coda, yeah, we're just gonna go full bore on the spoilers there. There are 4 entire chapters that almost no one played before complaining that the game didn't have enough story. So, anyway, basic deal here. It's spoilers free at this point. So episode 1 is when Yuria, Canopus' sister, shows up on the island, gets possessed by a sea witch, and then you go to get her back. Now, the interesting thing here is that, so we have confirmation that she is legitimately there. We have confirmation that Gildas canonically survives, and the implication that the Murden should survive, because, Episode 2 then officially confirms that Murden should survive, confirms that Warren should survive, but here's the thing on Mr. Hamilton. So another little quick thing is that we can confirm that Warren, basically can prophesize the future accurately. We know that much. And also, unfortunately, he seems to have known what would happen to Lands the whole time. So, thing is, when it comes to Hamilton, all that the prophecy says is that they're supposed to arrive back to Zenobia alive. It doesn't say that they're supposed to be alive and well. So basically that, like they mentioned right here, he's not exactly, in the right state of mind to go back, but, he's still technically alive. Now, a fun little side note, by the way, here, if you didn't pick up on it, if you ever happen to have run into a situation where you, let's say recruited, or you recruited Hobram, but you didn't complete Ozma's side quest, she actually will return to Lotus in a better but similar state. So it actually should be notable that it's probably Balzaphon doing all that stuff, not Tardy. Basically, just people around Balzaphon just happen to wind up brain dead and in wheelchairs. So the guy's Tardy's not exactly great at picking his seconds in command, but either way, that's a whole other story. But last time that we actually see what's going on with Hamilton, he basically tells him that he's letting him go, and then suddenly the guy turns up, a bit of a vegetable. So yeah, can blame Balzaphon for a lot of things in the background. It actually might be a fun thing to dive into at some point. Anyway, moving on. There we go. So okay, we're in Coda at this point, but here's the thing. I'm going to assume, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and they mean the entirety of Coda 2 is fully completable, because as some folks have pointed out, technically speaking, this is the part where the programming gets a little bit fucky. So basically 1 and 2 work just fine. However, Coda 2 is an interesting one, because we get confirmation that both the White Knights survive because they have to have their conversation early on. But we also wind up with a situation where technically at the very end, when Warren is coming back, technically this scene doesn't trigger without the princess ending. Technically, you can do all of the rest of Coda 2, but technically you can't officially complete it and unlock Coda 3 without Warren being there and without the princess ending. Supposedly, guaranteeing that Cashua canonically survives and that Warren canonically survives. Now, the entire episode is about Warren. I think it's safe to confirm that he canonically survives. However, the Cashua surviving part, it's unclear whether that is just kind of a programming thing, because by the time they got to the DLC, it seemed like a lot of stuff was a lot more kind of haphazard, so to speak. So in this particular case, we see a case where technically, you've already rescued Warren by that point. You've already gotten him out of the Palace of the Dead. You just can't officially have him rescued in a cutscene because Coda 3 has to have a trigger to start, and the trigger to start is Cashua being able to open up the vet clinic for Hamilton. So that's the weird part there. Now, my understanding is that officially this means that Kashua is left in a unknown state and Warren is confirmed saved. That's my personal take on it. I feel like technically Coda 1 and 2 do not involve her. It's just a scripting thing to jump into Coda 3, and they just had some weird workaround for it, because when I say stuff is haphazard, I mean, let's go ahead and take a look even at, if we go over to the help section, they technically have a section where they tell you about these episodes. But they don't actually pop in until you've already started the episodes, for one thing, so not exactly super useful information there. See, like right here, the prerequisite for Chapter 3 is that Kashua is alive and in your party, whereas for Chapter 2, starting conditions are that Canopus, Murden, and Gildas are alive, so they're canonically confirmed alive. But they don't mention a thing about Kashua being there, though every guide will mention her as being required because you can't finish all of Coda without her. So that's kind of the weird bit there. And I want to point out this again in terms of kind of how stuff was a little bit crunched towards the end here. These don't even get, like, a picture. They get no JPEG. Everything else gets a JPEG. Everything has a little picture to go along with it. These ones, like, you'd think they would have at least put the profile picture or something, but they don't even get that. Presumably, it just couldn't be added in at the time or something. Again, I would have figured it would have just been, like, Uria's picture, Warren's picture, Lance's picture, and then Tardy's picture. But, you know, either way, it is what it is. So this officially confirms, at the very least, that the Zenobians are all confirmed to be alive at the very end, which is the first time that the Zenobians have been confirmed alive. I wonder what that means for OB64, because you can just betray and kill them all. And then yeah, for Kashua, it seems to be unknown. For Vice, it seems to be unknown. Again, that's my personal reading on it. But yeah, officially, it does not require Kashua to be alive to do this one. And then, yeah, everybody else is kind of in a bit of a gray area. It would be a very interesting flex on their part to go for the assassination ending. That would be a very interesting take on things if they were going for an episode 8. But you know what? That'd be something. Actually, that would be amazing. Like, say they make episode 8, right? And, like, say originally you would just, like, if Denim survives, you just pick up where Denim left off, but you start off in captivity. But then if he got assassinated, you play as Tardy for episode 8. This would never happen, by the way, because the programming required would be asinine. But I'm just saying, it would be an interesting little thing to do there. All right, so anyway, that's that. That's all I wanted to cover on this one. I just thought it was interesting that we finally got lore confirmation for once. Alright, so more Reborn info when it comes up. If you want to hear more like voice stuff, again, as always, just go check out their official Twitter. The Tardy one just went up today. Dude sounds pretty much exactly like I was picturing in my head, so I mean, aside from, I hope the English version sounds more like Wesker. I keep mentioning this over and over, but, like, it needs to have a certain bit of smarm to it. Like, dude's been through some stuff. But yeah, the more lore stuff comes out, the more everything else, the more I keep thinking that this is going to be, like, where they finally combine all the bits of the series completely. Because it started in the original remake. There were a lot of references to a lot of different stuff, like, Canopus running an OB64 build, or the fact that you got the little Knight of Lotus star for your mastered skills and stuff like that. But anyway, so, you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.